Hello everyone, TheSenpaiCode here. So for this episode, I want to do interactable items for the game, stuff that we can pick up, such as gems. I want to show you guys how to model them in 3D Studio Max, as well as how to texture them in Unity to get reflective, also to get particle effect for sparks, as well as animate them. And then from there, I think that will be all the time we'll have for this episode, or I might break it into another part and upload that later on today, which would have the script on how to pick it up when we do to destroy that item, so they can't re-pick up that item again, as well as add it to your inventory. Then we'll also have to create a character script for that too, to hold how many items there are, how many items you've collected, stuff like that. So we'll do that maybe in the second part. So the first part here will be how to model, how to texture, how to add the probe, how to add the particles, and how to animate it. So let's jump into 3D Studio Max here. Alright, so this is 3D Studio Max. Now let's start by creating a gem, a Spyro type gem. Now that's going to be pretty easy. Let me just change the viewport a bit more to the side. Let's just create a box. Let's just make the box 50 by 50 by 50. Then let's make the height and the width segments 3. I mean the width and the length, yeah, 3. And then the height 2 is what we want. So you're getting something like this, as you can see from the front, the top, and then the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to go convert. I'm going to change it to a editable poly. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to center everything. So I'm going to hit the zoom extend, and now I'll just center everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just hold CTRL curl, and I'm going to select all the sides. So the sides are all selected on this model. I'm then going to scale, and I'm going to scale it in so that it's nice and flat and smooth, which is like this. So everything's nice and smooth. I'm then going to grab the bottom. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to hit move, and I'm going to move this up. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually scale this up just a little bit, and then I'm going to collapse it. Now this is a bit too much, so I'm just going to scale it down, and I'm using my eyesight to kind of check everything. So there's a couple things that's wrong with this at the moment. First, this is not as lengthy as this, I don't believe, so we'll fix that here in a second. But first, let's just go ahead and grab the 4 interiors. So you can either click on here, these 4, or you can just do what I did. So nothing else is clicked. I'm going to move this up also. So you can either leave it like this if you want and have something kind of flat at the top, have it more gem-like, or if you want a bit less polys, you can just collapse it also and then just move it up a little bit more, and you'll get that same kind of diamond look. So let's go ahead and see how much of a difference there is in this. So this is 1, almost 2. If we rotate it around, it's just over 2. So I'm just going to go up here, I'm going to hit undo just to change it back. So let's go ahead and just grab these 2. What we're going to do is we're just going to scale it out. Now it has to be half of what the other one is. So I'm just going to scale it to about 2. I'm going to do that also with the other direction. These ones, scale it out to about 2. And then I'm going to just reselect these, and then I'm going to scale them out to kind of just smooth everything back out. Oh, a bit too much right there. So these ones are smooth. This one's not quite as smooth. Same with this one. But think right there. And there you go, you got a gem. So we'll actually texture this and edit this in 3D Studio Max. Not 3D Studio Max, in Unity, sorry. We'll edit this doing the graphics, because I want to change it to glass and all that, so we'll do that all in Unity. And we'll animate it so that it goes in circles on the ground on its side. We'll do that all in Unity. Alright, there's actually one last thing. Now that we actually have it saved, let's just export it as a Fbx file so that we can just actually drag and drop it into Unity. So let's go to export, make sure it's as an Fbx, select wherever you want to have it exported to, and then just do gem and save it. Alright, so here we are back in Unity3d. So let's go ahead and create a few folders. So we're going to need to create an animation folder for our animations that we're going to be using for this game. We're going to need to create a texture folder. Just make sure I put a capital T there. And then we're going to need a prefab folder. There we go. So let's go into the model folder and let's import the Fbx file for the gem. And let's put that there. I'll close that folder. And then I'm just going to import this into the scene. So it is pretty big. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dial it down a bit. I'm going to put it at 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.2. And that should be about the right size there. So let's go ahead and texture this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into the texture folder. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a material, which should be right here. And I'm going to call this gem, capital G, underscore red. And then we can also create blue and green or whatever other colors you want, yellow. It's all up to you. I'm going to drag and drop this onto the gem. And then right here on the gem, it's selected in the hierarchy. We can actually change the color. So I'm going to change it to red. I'm actually going to bring this down. So the more here that you go down, the more see-through it will be. I think about 210 is where we want it at. So that should be good there. Let's just zoom into this a little bit. And yeah, about there. Bring that. So let's bring the smoothness up to give it more of that crystal look. So let's go ahead and make this transparent, and there we go. Now we have the kind of the gem crystal. It's a bit too light. Let's make this a bit darker, about there. Alright, and let's make sure the spectre and reflect is on. So we're going to need to add a reflective probe and a particle system onto this. So let's go ahead, everything is there. Okay, as we have the gem selected, I'm going to go to game object, I'm going to go down to light, and I'm going to go to reflective probe. And I'm going to select that. And here's a reflective probe. I'm just going to drag and drop this onto the gem. So the box is going to be pretty big. As you can see, we're actually going to need to dial that down to 0.5 by 0.2 and 0.2, I think is what it's going to be. Shadow distance, we want 0.5. And we're just going to need to actually move this around. Well, let's zero this onto the gem first. So zero everything down onto it. And it's actually just below the gem, so I'm just going to raise this up. And as we raise it up, once we let this go, you can actually see reflection start to take hold. So when we get the trees and stuff, it will actually, oh, that's a bit 0.2. Is that proper? no, that's not 25. No, oh whoops, 0.25, and that's right there. Yeah. Oh, and this needs to go to 0.25 too. 0.25. There we go. And yeah, so something like that will be reflective. So let's go ahead and add the particle system onto it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to game object. We're going to go to what would it be? Effect, particle system. And the particles are really big at the moment. I'm actually just going to turn this reflective probe off so that we can actually see the gem a lot better in the particles. So let's go ahead and just go to the particle system. Let's put it onto the gem. Let's zero it to the gem. And it's about to get a lot bigger because it was actually pretty far away. Here we are. So we want it at 2, 12, about 35 particles. We actually want this a lot smaller, so we can actually use the scale tool here and we can actually scale it down. Oops, we don't want it blown that way. What we're going to do is we're going to go to shape, we're going to go to sphere. We can actually move the particle system up a bit. It's pretty far down, and then I'm also going to scale it some more. The particles are kind of hard to see. That's a bit too small. Oh, that's a bit too big. It's just tweaking it to find the right amount. Emission 10. Emission's good. Don't need anything else. Render, that's good. Shape sphere. Radius thickness. What's 3 by 3? 5 by 5. We can just do that. I think that's everything we want for the particle. It's all about sizing it down now. So if I hit play, we go into here. They're kind of hard to see, but you see the little things. Let's make it a bit bigger. It's all about tweaking it, but now you can actually see it a bit better, the particles coming off. So I'm actually going to hide that now too. So let me just hide that. So let's just close this. So let's go and put it at a 45-degree angle. And now I'll put it down here. It's just off the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide it to the ground here. So now that we can actually see the gem better, let's go ahead and go to Window, add an animation, drag and drop, and click this on to the toolbar here. Okay, so now that we have that, make sure that we have the gem clicked. It is at 45 degrees still, and we're going to hit create. Go into our animations folder, and we can call this gem, gem underscore rotation, and hit save. And it will save it to our animation folder. So we want to rotate the same way that it's going to be spinning. If it rotates the other way, it's not going to make any sense. What I'm actually going to do is start it off at, well, actually I can start there for now. I'm going to hit record. I'm actually going to scroll to zoom this out a bit. I want it about at 6 is where it's going to finish. So at the start here, I want this Z, so it's going to be spinning on the Z. We want this to be minus 0.01, or sorry, 0.1. I think is what we're going to want this at. Let's just figure it out. Let's go to 6. And then let's go to minus 359 and hit enter. All right, so that's spinning the right way. So let's go ahead and get now it rotating. So we want to rotate it on the Y. So let's start it off at 0.1. 0.1. And so I'm making sure that I have it at the start. I'm going to bring it down to here, and I'm going to put it at minus 359. So hopefully it spins the right way, which it's not. It's spinning the wrong way. So what we're going to do is just go back to the start here. Oh, okay, I see what I did. I did the positive and then the minus. Let's just hit that. So now it's spinning the right way as it spins. But you see it stops there for a second before continuing on the spin. So it's most likely the lineature. I think that's what it's called. So what we're going to do is we're just going to open this up. We're going to check the curves. And I'm pretty sure it's something with the curves here. So I'm just going to zoom out. I'm going to click on this one. Actually, let's click here. Let me actually just zoom back in. Actually, I'm just I'm holding the CTRL. I'm just selecting everything. Just going to reset everything. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to go down to both tangents, and I'm going to make it linear. And there you go. See, it keeps spinning now. Yeah, so it was just the curves. So let's go ahead and unstop that. We can actually close this now. We're not going to need it. So I'm just going to stop the animation thing, and I'm just going to close this tab. So now we can actually have the gem, and we can actually just re-add everything. So let's put everything back on, put the probe and everything back on. Let's just hit play. So we got the sparkle, we have the gem rotating, we do have a reflective probe on it. You're not going to hardly be able to see anything until we start adding background trees for the reflective. It's not as see-through as I want it to be, so I'm actually just going to go in and fix that. I think it's actually because there's a white surface. What I'm actually going to do is I'm actually just going to bring in one of my sand textures right now. 1 second here. Alright, so I'm just going to drag and drop this in. So let's drag and drop the sand in, and let's just click on the terrain here. Edit textures, add textures, select, and then sand 1. Oh, and the, well, that's no good. 1 second here. Delete. So edit, remove texture. Add texture. Let's add sand texture. Size 100. 100. Oh, maybe it's the other way. Edit texture. 1 by 1. There we go. Apply. So 1 by 1. So So now you can actually see through it a bit better. You can actually see the sand. Let's add a tree. So edit trees, add tree. Does it even have a tree in this? I guess it doesn't. I haven't added that kit in. So let's go assets, import package, environment. And will that add? Yes, it will add the trees in. So let's hit import. And let's just import a palm tree once it's done loading up. Alright, so let's hit edit trees, add tree, click here, and it'd be palm, most likely out right here. So let's hit add. This brush size is way too big. Tree density, tree, let's just do 1. Boom. So we got a tree in there. So hopefully if I get, you see the sun anyways, the sun reflected off of it. It's hard to see from this distance. Let me actually just move here. Come on. I'm trying to get you guys to see the reflective probe. Not sure if it's just a shadow or not. But when you add the hills and stuff, it should be easier to tell. So we have this sparks coming off. The sparks are going pretty far. You can actually size it down a bit more. If the sparks are coming off too big, I don't want the train anymore, I just want the gem. If the sparks are coming off too fast, I mean not too big, too fast, all you need to do is go into the particle effect here and just do the speed, the start lifetime, and the start speed, and just mess with those, twerk those until you get how you like it. And so if you want to do like a blue gem, all you do is create another texture, another material, call this gem blue. And do the exact same thing that you did here, just change the color to a blue. You know, and then what you can actually do, and also put it down to the 210, what you have there. We can actually just duplicate. We can move this over. We can apply this. We can actually get rid of this one. Actually, I think I can just apply this blue to it. Oops. Come on, close that. There we go. And then do exactly what we did. Just move the smoothness up, the transparent. Everything else should still be the same. So now we should also have a blue gem. And it's actually a bit easier. And you see the reflective there now? So the palm tree, it comes up and it looks over, right? So when it gets there, you see the palm tree at the top there. So the particles are blue, and that's because I accidentally dragged and dropped the texture onto here, the glitter, which was my bad. I accidentally did that instead of dropping it there. So I can actually just duplicate that and go and drop that onto there. And then just zero it onto this one. 0 and 0. And then they actually moved it up. But yeah, it was because I accidentally dragged and dropped the texture onto it. I can actually move it down a bit. It's pretty high. Same with this one, it's a bit high. I could actually move it down a bit. But yeah, so that's how you get different colors of gems. You get the reflective probe, so you can actually see here. I'll actually go down a bit more. See the tree on there reflecting from the top. And that's how you make a Spyro gem. You get the animation, you get the roll. And if you want to roll faster or slower, you just go into the animation there. You extend that clip time from 6. I had it at 6. You'll just move it up. Or if you, if you want it to slow down, that's what you do. If you want it faster, you move it down to like 4 or something like that, and it'll spin faster for the curvatures. But yeah, that's how you make Spyro gems. That's how you import them into Unity, how you add the reflective probe and make them see-through glass and change the color for them. So we'll do the gold. I'll teach you guys how to make sand textures like this too, so that you can actually texture your level. So we'll actually do the texture for the sand or some kind of blockage or something like that. Next, get into the inventory on how to start collecting and deleting these when the player touches them with the hit glider. And so we'll get into that too. Same with the rings, we'll just apply that same script onto them. So I'll end this part here for now, and I'll continue on the next part. And I may upload them both at the same time. We'll see how much time this takes to do all this.